Welcome back, Scream fans, to my review of Scream 6. Barely a year removed from one of the freshest legacy sequels added to any franchise, Ghostface might have moved on to New Yorker pastures, but we're still here to discuss the latest installment in one of the most solid horror franchises in the history of film. Following the latest Ghostface killings, the four survivors of Woodsboro leave their hometown behind and attempt to start a fresh chapter in New York City. And we're going to start right there with a change of pace that has been so long overdue for the Scream franchise. They somewhat attempted it in Scream 3, but this fully commits to putting our characters in a brand new, unknown, chaotic environment such as a big city. And they find ways of taking elements of the story and enhancing the scares, enhancing the suspense, even places, moments where someone would naturally feel safer. They manage to up the intensity. Top what makes moving away to a brand new place on top of the lingering trauma from the last movie, and they find these really interesting situations that create for some terrifying set pieces. Not only that, when it comes to the characters, you feel really connected to the four survivors, to Mindy, Chad, Tara, and Sam. All these characters continue to grow and have this continuous arc coming in from the last movie, where in many ways, this feels very much like the fallout for Scream 5, where they gave us this legacy sequel that united the brand new leads of the franchise with our old favorites in Dewey, Gale, Sidney. This feels now like they're forging their own path. It feels like the franchise is now embracing these are our leads. And they explore these characters in very interesting ways, where you have this through line of trauma. And how do you cope with it? And you have different people coping with trauma in different ways. And certainly Chad and Mindy have their moments in the spotlight, but they don't carry this compelling theme as much as Sam and Tara do. And you get to care for these characters a lot. They're likable, they're nuanced, and you have seen the experiences they've gone through. And so now there's brand new friction in the relationship of Tara and Sam. But also their bond has never felt as strong, has never felt as compelling, and has never been explored in the ways this film does. And that's one of the strongest aspects of this film. It's how it has us embracing and pulling for these four core characters. But of course, they're not our only characters in this film. We have brand new characters, and Jack Champion from Avatar: The Way of Water is in this film, and I knew I recognized this face, but I couldn't place it. He has grown so much since he shot The Way of Water to this film. He felt almost unrecognizable. I knew who this kid was. I couldn't name him. I couldn't place it. As soon as it comes on the credits, my mind was blown. This kid had like a jump. You can tell he was in his early teens, mid-teens when he shot this film. And you also have old favorites. Courtney Cox is back as Gale, and I do feel they repeated a little bit of what the franchise has done with them before. I'm not going to go into specifics. Everyone, however, is awaiting Kirby's return. And all I can say right now is Hayden Panettiere is great in this. I love how they bring Kirby in, which he has to give to the story, and how it connects to the overarching theme of the film of exploring and breaking down legacy of the franchise in the meta way that only Scream can do. This film is really funny when it comes to its meta jokes, and it wears its heart on its sleeve. The trailers have shown us the shrine dedicated to Ghostface, and some of those sequences are awesome. What you see Ghostface do in this film is ruthless. It is merciless. These are the most brutal killings in the franchise yet. It is absolutely terrifying to watch Ghostface in this because they keep upping themselves. They keep going to lengths that they haven't gone before. And that lends to some high intensity sequences, but also to the unpredictability that these films, not only being slashers, but also whodunits at the same time, they thrive on. And so these Ghostface sequences, counterbalanced with the meta jokes, the meta commentary, how it further explores, doubles down on the franchise and requel and reboot exploration that Scream 2022 did, this film does a whole lot more of that. So if the jokes in the last one didn't necessarily work for you, just be aware. This is one of those films that is incredibly intuitive about what it is, what its place is within a franchise, and really what its place is within the larger film world in and of itself. Two of my favorite meta jokes ever in the Scream series are right here in this film. And Ghostface lends itself a lot to that because of the terrifying nature of seeing, oh, Ghostface is now doing this. And so not only do you want to see more of this Ghostface because those killing sequences are so much fun to watch, but also what are the limits? And how do you explore the motivations of whoever is behind the mask? What is going to be the ultimate reveal of this? How is it going to connect and tie up all these story threads? And that's how I felt the film somewhat felt short. This has to be, to me, the most deflating third act in all of the Scream films except for 3, where it kind of gives you answers and then it keeps giving you answers. It tries too hard and it tries too much to tie everything together in a perfect little bow. And to me, if this makes any sense, it felt great as a direct follow-up to 2022 Scream, which it is, but it felt like it wanted to satisfy the fan base a little bit too much with how it ties in and how it brings in the entire franchise. We didn't need that much, and it felt like we could have had some questions lingering heading in to Scream 7. Whatever they're going to do there, I wouldn't know, of course. But with how fast we can pump these movies out, where we're just 14 months removed from the last one, it feels like yesterday where we were with Sam and Tara and Chad and Mindy, and we were through all that experience that tied very closely to the original Scream. And this one just wanted to tie it all together. It felt like it lost a little bit of focus. And so it not only feels deflating because now there's really not an answer of where we could go, but it also feels too busy. It wants to do too much for a Scream film. And so it feels a little bit out of focus coming into that third act. Really, I wasn't having any particular issues with this film until the third act where some cracks begin to show. And I don't want to sound too overly negative because this is a blast. This is really fun. This is a good addition to the franchise. Scream 6 is somewhat in the lower end, but its highs are some of the franchise's best. I want them to keep reinventing Ghostface in ways such as they do in Scream 6. I want them to commit to this brand new setting, New York City, a chaotic, uncontrollable big city environment that our characters naturally, even if you remove the trauma and their history, don't necessarily feel comfortable in. Don't feel at home in. Taking our characters out of their comfort zone is something that is interesting, is compelling for them. But when you try to do so much and you try to close it out where the next chapter feels unclear, it just doesn't feel right for where the franchise finds itself right now. So it's flawed. I think you're in for a good time, just not necessarily a great time. But as I dive into my final thoughts, you can check out my review for the last one right up here, my ranking of the entire franchise, somewhere up here as long as you click that one first for the review for the last film. But I also want you to start the conversation in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on Scream 6, if you're excited, if you've seen it, what are your thoughts on the Scream franchise overall, how do you rank the films, anything and everything down there. And if you're enjoying this review, if you want to see more rankings, more reviews for anything, Scream or not, if you want to talk more movies and TV, this is the place to be. So consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. Scream 6 has the most substance and brutal kills yet. A refreshing setting gives it high intensity and unpredictability, and the Sam-Tara bond has never been more compelling. It can feel too busy as it embraces the entire franchise up till now, and the third act does feel deflating more than it should. But Kirby fans, rejoice! I'm giving Scream 6 a B. Thank you so much for watching. That does it for my review of Scream 6. I'm sure the conversation will be on fire about this one, so I cannot wait to see what you have to say in the comments below. Big shout out to my channel members for always supporting the channel. And I'll be back very soon with more. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.